As ever, nice and easy and gently, and take your time settling in. So just sit comfortably, trying to sit upright, feet down. If you can, just bringing your weight a little bit forwards, and you can sit back as I am at the moment, so just the lower part of your back is against the chair, giving your back that little bit of extra support, or going forwards just a little, and this will tend to emphasize a little bit more support from your feet and your legs. This is something we want to build up to gradually and gently. Now, just rubbing your hands together, and then the pads of your fingers tapping lightly over your face. Over your head, neck. Just noticing the sensations from the tapping. Down to one shoulder, feeling the muscles vibrate a little bit as you do. And then your arms. So there's always a physical warm-up, which is always important, but also chance to just gently draw your attention into your body. On the other side, your arm, upper part of your chest, and then to your belly. And finally your legs. Going back to your basic sitting posture, give yourself a moment to once again notice your posture. A bit of weight in your feet, a very slight tilt forwards in your upper body. In your back, thereby supporting the front of the body, your belly, chest, ribs. The weight of your arms on your shoulders. Just using this awareness of posture to whatever level of detail is available to you. So, as our experience grows, we become more and more aware. You might be aware, for instance, of the gentle rise and fall, the rhythm of your breathing, belly and your chest. But at this point, one of the main things is to just be aware of whatever details are there for you, and to get a sense of your attention beginning to settle, beginning to be anchored by those details, by that awareness. Just starting to bring together three aspects, three elements. The physical aspect of the practice, the mechanics of the movement, posture and so on, of the awareness and the intention. These are intentional movements, deliberate movements, and of the movement itself, the flow, the energy. Trying to get to a point really where just naming them as somehow separate is not appropriate. And in that blending of the three elements, these three treasures of Tai Chi, this is perhaps one of the ways that we can understand the term Qi. That it's a noun, if you like, a group noun, labeling the feeling that we get, the qualities that we get when these three aspects aren't so one over there and one over there and one down here, but actually begin to flow together, so that when we make a movement, it involves both an intention, an awareness and intention. It involves, of course, the mechanics of the movement. That can become very subtle, and that subtlety kind of blends into the movement itself, the flow, the energy. So just slowly turning your head. You can do this with your eyes closed, but if you do it with your eyes open, excuse me, do it with your eyes open, you can just see sort of the vista, whatever's in front of you, the screen that you're watching, whatever's to the side of it, without judgment, without commentary, just observing, as well as trying to get a sense for what's happening in your neck, your shoulders, your spine, as you make this very simple movement. But the main focus of attention at the moment is very much within your body. Then hands in front of your shoulders, pushing your elbows forwards, up and over, smooth circle. Again, noting the effect really all the way through your upper body, but particularly in your chest and upper back and your sides. And then going forwards. So you're beginning to feel that the movement evolve more than just one part of the body, becoming aware of this sense of a connection through your body. And then your hands down to your sides, and then winding your arms around. And again, a little bit more subtle perhaps than the previous one, but when you feel what's happening in your chest and your upper back. So as well as the mechanics of the movement and the effect this has on joints, muscles, tendons and ligaments, which is obviously very important, there's also a sense in which the movements are sort of guiding your attention inside your body. And then raising your arm like you're winding up cotton or silk thread. Trying to feel the movement back into your shoulders, and again, very subtly, chest, back and sides. And then back the other way. As we become more aware of these subtle changes within the body, we can bring a greater sense of intentionality to them, and they gradually begin to play more of a role in the movements. Letting your hands rest. Ease forwards, so tilt forwards. Think of the bones at the base of your pelvis as being like the blades of a rocking chair. Pushing down through your feet, feeling your shoulders go back, and then going forwards again, feeling your weight, filling up into your legs, compressing your legs slightly to produce the upward expanding movement. And just noting this chain of movement from feet to knees and up to your thighs and up through your belly, the solar plexus, your chest again, into your shoulders. So one of the aspects of the movement that we're becoming increasingly aware of is this very subtle linking, this very subtle connections through our bodies. Feel also what's happening in your hips. Your hips are sinking back a little bit as you go forward, like somebody's pulling you back into the chair. And so there'll be a very subtle lengthening through your back and spine as you go forwards, coming back. And again, that slight sense of compression as you settle into your hips. So when we move in the center part of our body, we feel the effects through the whole of our body, literally moving in a very centered way. So we begin to let our attention rest in the center. It's as though this is the point in the body that we kind of look out from. Looking down to the feet, looking up to the shoulders, head. And when we want to change the movement, we can say that the change comes here, because now this time you go back, and as you start to go forwards, turn a little bit towards one leg. You feel more of the weight going into that leg. And that changes these patterns. It's not just your back now that's expanding and contracting, but a little bit in your side as well. And then in the other direction. And then from here, doing the expansion in that left side of your body, and it contracts, and it helps to just bring your weight, turn your center towards the left, and then hips drop back, bringing you back upright. A little bit of extension in the right side of your body, and that contracts, and we start the whole process over again. So we can begin to feel this very subtle alternating patterns of expansion, contraction, first of all in the big muscles of the body, but increasingly subtle tendon and ligament in the skeletal muscle, in the fascia, maybe even in the bones themselves, and then back the other way. So these are not simply warm-ups, they're not simply joint rotations, they're ways of beginning to get a feel for how body, mind and energy interact with each other in all of the movements. Obviously with some of the movements it's going to be more complicated when we bring our arms in to the whole process. Now, come back to the centre, a slight shift across and bring up the opposite foot, push out, put the heel down, lower the ball of the foot and gently push in. So we focus on the small changes and movements and how they build up into the bigger movements. This time, having planted the foot, we let the weight follow. We also find that by being aware of these smaller changes within the body, we're able to really bring that influence of our intentionality to the movements. And then on the other side, first of all, what we call in Tai Chi an empty step, stepping out, put the heel down, lower the ball of the foot, gently press in, gently plant the foot. And your weight following. So everything in Tai Chi and Qigong works on different levels or complementary levels. Mind, body, energy, all interacting. Now, just alternating from side to side. Noting the slight change, having brought the extended leg in, there's a slight shift across and a turn. So this is the way we approach all of the movements. As always, I would emphasize this is not mind over matter. This is not forcing the body to do something, but rather realizing the potential where these three elements blend and interact and support each other. So now, let your hands drop down to your sides, feel the weight of your arms hang in, turn your hands palm forwards again, hanging directly below your shoulders. Ease forwards and rotate your arms, and then going back. So here's a slight opening across your chest, which contracts as you angle forwards, helping to rotate your arms. And then from here, leaving your hands facing back, fisherman cast a net. And this time, the momentum, the energy that builds up as you settle into your feet means that your arms swing past your hips a little bit. And here, going back, you settle into your hips. And again, the arm swings out just a little bit. What we're not trying to do is to force our arms outwards or upwards. We're not trying to lift our arms. So we feel that, again, that chain of movement from your hips up into your shoulders, down into your arms, at the same time dropping down into your feet, and then from the ground, coming back. Fisherman cast the net. We can bring in various images, one of the most common of which is, so we're moving through water, so we experience the sensations of a slight resistance, not a hard, solid resistance, but one that encourages that flow and that sense of releasing in areas, joints, muscles that feel tight. This time, trying to encourage the arms to push up a little bit further, and as you come back, rolling the ball in towards your chest. So, that stronger push up from your feet, coming up underneath your arms. But again, still not trying to lift your arms. You imagine the ball underneath your arm. If you're going to lift them, you'd lose that contact. It's more of a pulling movement. Your arms drop down, going forwards again. So we become increasingly aware of the movements and the energies within the body that begin to be expressed through the movements that we can see, the external movements. Although to start off with, it's often the other way around. We copy a movement, and that helps to make us aware of what is going on in the body. This time, as you come back up, turn your hands and arms so palms are facing inwards, pushing your elbows out, feeling your chest open and then contract. as this pigeon spreads its wings. Again, a chain of movement, chain of energy from feet to hips, coming up through your upper body, expanding outwards, moving your arms for you. And just beginning to feel that movement, that energy permeating your whole body. Try not to hold any areas tight because that would block that process. Energy spreading through your body. One more time. And trying to keep some of that same sort of quality of expansion and contraction within your body, a little bit more economic with the arms, giving a denser, stronger quality to the movement. This is pushing wave. Wave starting in your hips, sinking down, feeling the push through your back and out through your arms, settling down into your feet, and then again the feet pushing down, the legs expanding, pushing back. Very centered in the movement, very grounded in our movements. One more time in this position, and combining this with the step in that we did earlier, making sure you get your foot in position and pressing into the ground before you commit your weight. So imagine if you were doing this on thin ice, and what you'd want to do is to make sure that the ice is going to be able to take the weight of your body as you go forwards, otherwise you're going to get wet feet. One more time. And then coming back, all your fingers into a hollow fist, just curling your fingers around, moving forwards and rotating your arms. So beginning to feel the continuity of the movement from the soles of your feet to the crown of your head, down out into your arms and your hands, moving as one unit. And in a way, we could argue that the thing that really seals that is the awareness of the fluidity of the movement, the complete movement flowing through your body. And by becoming more aware of that and by developing an intention to sustain that, we actually help to make sure that this is how we begin to move. Opening your fingers, turning your hands out. Again, chest expanding and then contracting and pressing it. Seeing if we can just detect within the body those patterns of movement, and in particular if you can become aware of not just the flow of the movement, the flow of the energy, but this very subtle sense of the fascial layers within the body, which are the only layers within the body that form a continuous membrane. The only other one is going to be your skin. All the others have little kind of breaks, the nerves, the muscles, and so on and so forth. Awareness seems to amplify these small changes. Like being in a noisy room and focusing your attention on one person sort of brings their voice out of the background. And then turning your hands so they're resting on the table. Turn your body, ease forwards, extending again through your back and then out through your arms. Swinging around, drawing your arms around in a smooth circle. Polishing the table. Expanding and contracting. Expanding and contracting. One more time. Coming back to the middle. Turn your hands palm up, and again a gentle push from your feet and your hips, lengthening again through back, that wave of movement, pushing your arms up and then turning over and down. So in your back, your spine, an extension, like a ripple going up your back, followed by a contraction. And the impetus for that coming from that downward movement through your hips and through your feet. So in both directions, we keep this very strong connection to the ground, like a tree with its roots. And then changing the shape, but the same internal dynamic, this time pushing your arms out and then allowing them down. This is the wild goose. So with this one, of course, I'm going back to the imagery. We have this image of the bird in flight that may convey some kind of quality to you. If an image doesn't work for you, don't go chasing after it. We use a variety of images, and the intention is not to try and analyze the image, but rather to see, just to find if there's a quality that we discover in that image that benefits the movement. and then easing forwards. Your hands cross in front of the knees, sit back, and again expanding upwards to the belly, solar plexus and chest. This is heart in the clouds. Trying to settle into a nice steady rhythm that your whole body resonates to. And that resonance isn't just in the arms and so on and so forth, but internally as well, in those patterns of expansion and contraction, and in movements like your breathing and circulation. Not necessarily keeping to a particular breathing pattern, that you may find quite natural to breathe in as your arms push up and down. But even if it's not, even if it's the other way around, that's fine. Just keep breathing, but just feel how that rhythm permeates all the movements of your body. Again, a sense of your whole body, mind, and energy moving as one unit, grounded, centered. Then letting your hands drop down. Again, feeling the weight of your arms as they hang from your shoulders this time. Your tension on one side, your intention on one side. Pushing your arm up, winding around and drawing down. This is Dragon plucks the stars from the sky. A moment to let your hips settle down and then pushing up once again and drawing down. Don't rush. There's a moment, particularly here, as your arm drops down, where we just feel the weight of our body in our hips, weight of our arms from our shoulders. Last time. Dragon plucks the stars from the sky. Now, bringing your hands around, pushing in two directions, lengthening through your back and spine, do some more massage in your back. Contracting, drawing your hands back down to that position next to your center. And then this time, with the expansion, directing the movement outwards and back. Pressing out through the palms of your hands. So again, there's this rotation. This time as your arms push out sideways, extend one foot, just rest it on the heel, with your knee a little bit bent, turn your hands palm up, ease forwards, scooping the sea, sitting back, expanding in the front of your body, looking at the sky. So again, trying as much as possible to feel that the movements are built from inside out, from the ground upwards. So when we use terms like grounded, centered, rooted in Tai Chi, these are not metaphorical states of mind. This is the lived experience of feeling that movement build through your legs, through your hips, through your upper body. And then, again, rolling your fingers into a hollow fist, going forwards and upwards. Let your arms follow, grasping the tiger's ears. There's an expansion again across your chest, which contracts, helping to bring the arms around. If I exaggerate that, all these movements are very subtle, but it's like my chest does that, and then as it contracts in, as the sternum sinks back, that draws your arms around. So the phrase is, when one part of your body is in motion, your whole body is in motion. No one part of the body bearing the full load, so much less chance of straining any particular part of the body. On the other side, also that awareness of our body moving as one unit, it feels nice. It makes a massive contribution to our well-being, and is an indication that internally the movement, the energy is doing what we want it to do, which is to move fluidly, harmoniously, without any breaks, without any blockages. And this is, in Chinese medicine, seen as being one of the key factors that leads to our well-being. This time change into grasping the tiger's ears. So an awareness of our body, our movements, and our postures and so on, helps to ground and to settle and to calm our minds. And that calm mind encourages a calm movement, a calm flow. So we've all experienced feeling agitated and noticing that a mental agitation, if you think of it like that, so easily leads to physical agitation, and vice versa. Now, drop your weight more into your right hip, mirror my movements. Hold the ball, right hand on top. You're going to move across into the left foot, turn, and let that movement expanding in that left side of your body. Feed the arm out while the right hand pushes down. Come back. You're holding the ball now with the left hand on top. Move your weight across to the other hip. Notice how my body's turning. Same thing on the other side. This is parting the wild horse's mane. Expanding through the chest. And then coming back, contracting, turning slightly, and then across. Trying to be very clear on the stages of the movement. Weight in your right hip, moving into your left hip, turning to your left, expanding through that left side of your body. And then reversing all of that. And now, holding the ball, moving across. Take your time, and into the other side. Parting the wild horse's mane. One more time into your right foot. Movement of your weight is one of the key dynamic processes, so we want to try and really get that correct. And now just coming back to the centre and letting your hands drop. Just resting again for a moment. It helps. Take a couple of slow, gentle breaths, feeling the expansion of the in-breath all the way through your upper body, but your weight settling down in your hips, your feet. Leaving the upper body very open and spacious. That allows the movement to flow. Now, getting ready to stand. So, once again, it's just a tapping exercise, rubbing your hands together, tapping over your face. Going up over your head and neck. Down to one shoulder. You just want the blood to start to flow a bit more rapidly in your arm. Maybe raise your heartbeat a little bit with the faster movements. On the other side, your arm. And then the upper part of your chest. Down to your belly. And importantly, before we try and stand, your legs, the circulation, the feeling back into your legs before you try and use them. And then pushing your heels up, feeling that sort of pumping movement with your calves and your thighs, the joints of your legs. And then circling around. Feeling the movement back into your hips and back the other way. Good. And then standing. So of course when we stand, we're much more aware of our legs than we, but if you were aware of what was happening in your legs while you're in the chair, that will come much more immediately to you. Standing, feeling your legs supporting you, feet directly below your hips. So support for your hips and your shoulders, and have your weight a little bit forwards in the feet. Allow your hips to drop back. You don't have to bend the knees a long way, but they will bend a little bit, sinking down, legs compressing again, and then pushing you up and feeling that movement rising, expanding through your belly, your back, the chest, and then draining away again. So a cycle of movement, a cycle of energy, allowing gravity to pull your hips down and just feeling that resilience in your legs and the ground beneath you. Creating a very dynamic cycle within your body. As you sink down this time, curl your hands under, pushing up, expansion, pushing your elbows out. The standing version of rooting down, sinking down. You want your centre of gravity to drop through the ground. At the bottom of the movement, turn your fingers out, push up, going into the wild goose, and again, letting your weight drop, and now your hands crossing over, pushing up, parting the clouds. So a little sequence of movements. Very important that we feel that sense of the root, our centre of gravity, dropping down. This is the key thing that helps us to remain stable. And it also means that we're having to carry less weight in our upper body, less tightness, more space for that movement. So the physical rooting down, the physical dropping of the gravity is one of the key physical principles that we work with in Tai Chi. We're always looking to allow our hips to drop, to allow the pelvis to drop. And also, not only is it the physical stability, but it's the mechanism, if you like, that we employ to produce the energy that rises from the ground. The body filling up and then emptying. And again, you may find that your breathing just naturally harmonizes with this. If it doesn't, it's not a problem. Just let your body breathe however it's comfortable breathing. And again, these three aspects of body, mind, and energy blend into a point where they're indistinguishable. We can't separate the physical rooting and the stability and the groundedness that we get from that. Stability in the body physically, grounded in the mind, from its role of being essential in allowing the energy to build and to move us. Good, and then just shake out. So it's important that we remember that these three elements are not separate. We can't just focus on the energy. To simply focus on the energy of the movement would be like trying to fill your car up with petrol without noticing where the petrol was going. It's just going to spill all over the place. You're not going to get anywhere. So don't ignore the mechanics, the physical aspect of the movement, just because you're interested in the energy, or vice versa. Because without the petrol, the car's not going to go anywhere. We need that energy to move us. And the basic idea with the posture is that we find a way of standing and moving that keeps us in line with the pull of gravity. So I'm not leaning forwards and being pulled forwards and creating tightness in the body, for instance. And also, and this is crucial in Tai Chi, that the centre of gravity drops. It's common sense, really. The lower your centre of gravity, the more stable you are. It's simple physics. And you know, if you want some kind of demonstration of that, the next time you have a heavy box, maybe a box of books or a box of shopping, try holding it down here, and then very carefully try lifting it up, and you'll find that as you lift the box up, you're just going to be more wobbly. And in the same way, if we're carrying a lot of weight in the upper part of the body, we're going to wobble around more. It's very straightforward. So, from the parallel stance, turn 1 foot out, step forwards, roughly square in dimension, and just begin to transfer your weight forwards and backwards, taking a moment to settle each time. There's a very good chance that in the transition from one foot to another, you sort of lost that posture. You can get a bit wobbly. Take a moment to get it back, to settle before you move. And at the same time, because then that's settling, you're reaffirming that quality of connection to the ground and the energy that comes from that. There's a kind of resettling, a readjustment, and then you start to feel the expansion that pushes you forwards or backwards. And then you're going to raise your toes and your heel, so that now you'll find that your body shifts just a little bit, beginning to find that sense of alignment over one leg. So we've taken this idea from the chair to standing on 2 feet, and now on 1 foot. Again, there's that moment of just re-establishing the root, of allowing everything to settle, and then step in. Push the foot back, put the ball of the foot down, lower the heel, press gently into the floor, and move the weight back. When you step forwards, it's going to be your heel first. And Try not to stiffen up in the upper part of your body. That won't help you to stay stable. What will help you to stay stable is allowing gravity to work through your body. So we're learning to move in this very grounded, centered way. Good. Shake out. Try that with the other foot forwards. Hip width across the step, about the same in length, maybe a little bit longer. Transferring your weight, settling in. Transferring your weight, settling in. Take your time. The settling in refreshes us in mind and body and energy. It can prevent that sense of our thoughts running away with us, which is so common. And it helps to just generate this sense of stillness, the calmness that we associate with movement. Beginning to raise your toes and your heel. And then stepping in. And then step through. And going back. Now, bringing all those different elements together again into a slightly more complicated movement. Have your right foot forwards. Start with your arms at your sides. Move your weight into your front foot and turn to your left. And as you turn, just let your arms swing out. So we sink down, we feel that rise in movement, that rise in energy, that pushes our arms out. You come back. Settle into the back foot, and the same thing, turn in the opposite way. So now we come forward, and as you turn, push the back knee in, bring the foot forward, or you could do it this other way, depends where you've got space. Step forwards and plant the foot, forward, settle in, turn. This is called dragonfly skims the water. Bring your foot in, let your hips drop back, step through and plant the foot. Always take a moment to settle here. Starting to feel the combination of, again, body, the mechanics of the movement, the intention, the mind, the gathered attention, changing direction now, and the movement itself, expanding, pushing your arms out, stepping, contracting. Again, blending into one whole movement rather than separate elements, just as your feet aren't separate from your hips aren't separate from your shoulders, and so on. Now change direction again, and if it feels comfortable to you, you bring the foot in and raise up. If you find that you're too wobbly doing that, then just leave the foot down. If you want to try this, the key thing is your hips dropping back. Settle down, don't stiffen up in your shoulders. So it's that sense of being grounded, that sense of being rooted, dropping of the centre of gravity that gives us the stability to do this, not straining in the upper body. Change direction again. And bring your feet parallel and shake it. So, go back to your chairs. And once again, taking a few moments to settle in, aware of your posture. And hopefully you're beginning to see how this awareness of posture really helps to settle your attention, to give you that calm, spacious feeling in your mind. And that in its turn allows this intentional quality. We can bring our minds actively into the whole process. And we bring it into the process physically and in terms of the movement, the energy. So finding a posture that allows you to sink into the chair, that allows your centre of gravity to drop through the chair. Trying to feel there's a little bit of support from your feet again, as in your shoulders drop. Feeling that inner structure of your body, feeling that your skeleton, particularly in the upper body, your pelvis, your spine, your rib cage, your collarbones, continue to support you from within, even without the tightness and the stiffness that we're starting to lose. Let your hands drop down, push your arms out. Bring them around as though you're going to hold a ball against your chest. At this point, see if you can let your hips drop into the chair a bit more. And let that draw your hands in and then down. Arms coming down to their full length, feeling their weight drop. And then that push up from your feet and your hips. This is Embrace Tiger, return to the mountain. Learning how to come back when we lose the grounded quality, when we lose the root, when we lose that clarity, stability in our thoughts and our minds. We have a way back through the body. One more time. And come to rest. And just open your eyes. Thank you as always, everybody. And again, as always, please do contact me with any questions or comments. It's always good to hear from you. Bye for now.